The Leader of the Official Opposition.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And the rains are falling hard, as we all know, here in the rainforest. And when that happens, the people of Shawnigan Lake again are concerned about their drinking water. When I raised these issues last fall, the minister at the time told the House that the residents had nothing to fear, and the contaminated dump site right in the heart of their watershed, just above the lake, run by South Island Aggregates, was not a threat to their health and well-being, and that residents were safe. Last week, however, Honourable Speaker, the minister made a surprise visit to the Cowichan Valley Regional District, held an in-camera session, and said to the members there at that time that she was now going to conduct, with their assistance, reviews for the next 1 year of the water coming off lots 23 and lot 21, currently owned by South Island Aggregates. So can the minister tell us why it is she's going to continue to allow millions of tons of toxic, contaminated soil to arrive in that watershed before she knows just what the consequences will be?
Minister of the Environment.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and far from my visit to CVRD being a surprise, in fact, I have even indicated previously in this House that we are working closely with the CVRD and had hoped to have some ways in which we could go forward together. This was one proposal put forward by my staff, understanding that the community is feeling a very high degree of concern. We felt it was important to propose a process that would be outside of a government process, would directly involve CVRD, and would enable us to provide some data to the residents in and around Shawnigan Lake to confirm for them the confidence that they can have in their water. I will repeat that our staff continue to monitor the site very closely and to enforce where there are issues of compliance to ensure that, in fact, the water remains safe for those who are interested. Data with respect to their analysis of some of the other testing that's been done by CVRD and others is all posted on our website.
The Leader of the Official Opposition on a supplemental.
Well, thank you, Honourable Speaker. And with respect to Lot 21, when we asked the Minister of Environment and the Minister of Mines last fall about that particular piece of land, the minister said the following: with respect to Lot 21, it is private property. We have full authority to be able to enter that property, conduct testing, investigate if there are any concerns with respect to pollution. That was the answer last fall. But since that time, Honourable Speaker, on January 22nd, the province advised the former owner of Lot 21, South Island Aggregate, that it had now been forfeited to the Crown. So now, Lot 21 no longer is the problem of South Island Aggregate, it's the problem of the people of British Columbia. And I find it passing strange, Honourable Speaker, that it wasn't until after Lot 21 transferred to the hands of the people of BC that the Minister of Environment took the initiative to go to the Cowichan Valley Regional District and try some damage control. My question through you, Honourable Speaker, is to the Minister of Environment. In 2012, her ministry wrote to the owners of Lot 21 the following: we are concerned that the subject soil is contaminated at levels that represent risk to human health and the environment. So my question again to the minister is, are we now, the people of British Columbia, on the hook for someone else's contaminated dump site?
Minister of the Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And first, I should clarify that the contaminated soil facility is on Lot 23. Lot 21 is a former quarry and was the subject of a Mines Act permit. Nevertheless, Madam Speaker, when a property such as this forfeits to the Crown due to delinquent payments of taxes, this begins a fairly lengthy process during which time the now previous owners do have a number of opportunities to redeem that property through payment of taxes. That process will unfold as it does, obviously separate from the work of the Ministry of Environment. The Ministry of Environment has continued to monitor what is coming from the site, both 23 and 21. To date, have not found that there are elements of concern for human health or the environment. But again, Madam Speaker, this is part of their ongoing monitoring and compliance work. It is not to be interfered with by those in the political process. It is conducted by qualified professionals in the ministry who operate independently, and that is an important feature of our regulatory process in British Columbia, has been for generations.
Leader of the Opposition on a further supplemental.
Well, thank you, Honourable Speaker, and perhaps the briefing notes don't go back far enough for the minister beyond last fall, but in 2012, her ministry was of the view that Lot 21, which now resides in the hands of her and the Executive Council, had contaminated soil on it sufficient to risk public health and the environment. That's not Lot 23, it's Lot 21, which the minister now owns on behalf of all of us. If the minister had gone to the site, she would see that Lot 23 is conveniently right beside Lot 21. And the people of Shawnigan Lake know full well that there may well be a survey stick between one and the other, but the dump is the dump is the dump, and the anxiety levels are through the roof in that community because of the actions, or rather, the lack of action by this government. Decision maker did not visit the site. I'm sensing that the minister has not visited the site. The people in Shawnigan Lake are absolutely beside themselves as the rain is coming down. There's a tumult outside. That water is collecting contaminants and making its way straight down the hill, as gravity will allow it to do, into the drinking water source for 12,000 British Columbians. My question, Honourable Speaker, through you to the minister is, will she reduce that anxiety, reduce that fear, and pull the permit now?
Minister of the Environment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And for opposition members to suggest that somehow no action has been taken on the part of the Ministry of Environment is absolutely false. Staff have continued to monitor the site very closely. They have also continued to conduct testing. They have reviewed testing that has been conducted by outside sources, and they continue to respond to complaints when concerns are raised from the community. It is their obligation. These are qualified professionals who have the expertise to analyze this data and respond accordingly. I know they take their obligations very seriously. They have dedicated their careers to ensuring that the way we manage water from sites such as this is a way in which we protect human health and the environment. That is what they are dedicated to do. They are fulfilling their obligations, and they will continue to conduct themselves appropriately without political interference.